What's up, witches? It's Luna here after kind of a wild night. I was still awake, but at 1:30 in the morning, my phone screamed a tornado warning at me. So my husband and I got up because, you got to get up and put on clothes when there's a tornado warning in the middle of the night. We did not have a tornado. Thank the goddess. I don't know that anyone did, but there was radar rotation and all that stuff, and woo-wee. And then I got up this morning, there was beautiful sun coming in the window, and I thought it's a perfect time to unbox this deck. The sun's gone. It's okay. It's still a perfect time to unbox a deck, and the one this morning is part 2 from last week's unboxing of the Universal Tarot. This is the Universal Transparent Tarot. That's why I have a piece of white paper here. So let me zoom you in. Could have done that beforehand, I guess, but what the hell. I toast you with my coffee. This is my first sip. Nothing like that first sip of the day, is it? Okay. Here's the Universal Transparent Tarot. So the artwork, I am not going to go through each individual card with this because the artwork is much better seen on the actual Universal Tarot. So here we have a transparent box. Universal Transparent Tarot. I don't know how well you can see that. This is going to be interesting. We have, we have the Sphinxes from the Chariot. This is a Lo Scarabeo deck. And this is going to be very interesting. Okay, so there's a white thing in the back. 78 transparent cards that can be overlapped for an extraordinarily profound and widespread vision of destiny. Let's get in. Now I haven't used this deck, but I've gotten in and messed with it to sort out how it works. So just the concept is fascinating. I am a big fan of reimaginings of the traditional tarot, and transparent is certainly one of them. Now, I have watched other unboxing videos of this deck, and not a single reader that I have seen has figured out how to use this card. I am one of those readers. The instructions here are very dense. Let's see. I want to see where they talk about the key to interpretation. I think is this card. Yes, figure 7. So just right off the rip, in the deck of Transparent Tarot, there are also another 2 cards that are not exactly part of the deck. The title card, which is this, has only graphic functions. The key to interpretation, which is this, on the contrary, can be used during the reading. The key to interpretation is divided into two quadrants. No, that would be 2 halves. There would be 4 if they were quadrants. An upper quadrant in green and a lower one in blue. The Transparent Tarot introduces an important innovation. Okay, let's see. Oh no. So, and that's all it says about this. That's all it says about this. So we set it aside, and we set this aside, and now we have the whole deck stacked. And as you can see, when you stack the entire deck, even though the cards, each individual card is transparent, you really can't see through the whole deck, which is kind of a bummer, don't you think? So we have the major arcana, and again, I'm not going to go through each individually, but you will notice that all of the major arcana have the images in the upper left. Then we have the wands, and down, okay, so the majors have, yeah, the images on the upper left, and then there is the number is right above the card. Then we have the suit of wands and the suit of swords, and their images are all in the lower right hand corner for those 2 suits. Okay, wait. we've got, oh no, okay. So I am kind of rediscovering it because it's been a while since I received this. This was another gift from my daughter, by the way, if you had not guessed. So here we have all of the court cards. All the courts have the images in the bottom right, and we have an image for the knave. The knight is a horse's head, the queen, and the king. Okay, so first group is majors, second group is courts, and you know what, I'm going to zoom you back out. This gives me just a little bit more room to work here. Then we have the wands, so the images are kind of in the middle right, and as you can see too, we have the wand symbol there and the number. So if you have a Roman numeral, you know it's a major. The Arabic numerals are for these minors without the courts. Then we have the swords, and the swords have the images in the middle, lower middle left. The cups are in the upper right, and the pentacles are in the bottom left. So, let's read. All right. Transparency can be understood only from a physical point of view, but also from a spiritual one. The cards and their meanings will be summed, becoming linked by a shared significance that will also depend on their reciprocal position and orientation. All right. Seeing things in transparency leads to a more profound vision coming from our subconscious that penetrates the fabric of destiny. The truth has many facets, and all of them can be seen in transparency, but only by those who know they are in turn transparent, or in other words, clear, clean, and ready to abandon themselves to the wonderful union between destiny and human willpower. I apologize if I am reading this with a snarky spin. I just noticed that. Let's go beyond that. Let's just go to the system. So the structure of the cards, we have the majors and the type A, major arcana and face cards, meaning the courts. Type B, the suits of pentacles and chalices. So they're lumping those two together. Type C, the suits of swords and wands, so we lump these together. And so we have 3 sets of cards. This is crucial. You have to keep them divided this way. Sorry. All right. Now, the Transparent Tarot introduces an important innovation to the traditional method of reading because it allows the contemporary viewing of 6 cards together in a single interpretive spread. These brief instructions propose 2 different levels of reading, which for the sake of convenience are called simple reading and advanced reading. Our suggestion is to begin using the deck by practicing the simple reading. The advanced reading may be used once some experience has been gained. More coffee. All right, this simple reading is very useful for gaining some experience using the Transparent Tarot. Transparent Universal Tarot. So my other Transparent Tarot is just called the Transparent Tarot. So we split the deck into the 3 types of cards. They must be turned face down and shuffled carefully. So let's do that. And before we do that, let's light a charcoal. If I can, there. I've been doing some crafting on my little sideboard here. So I've got too much stuff around me. Okay. You know what? I'll light a candle. What the heck? even though you can't see it. I'm going to stay zoomed in because the spread is not a spread, and probably will zoom in some more now that we've kind of gotten the lie of the land. All right, so allies and ancestors, guides and guardians, thank you, welcome. Let's offer some fresh water and some fire of Azrael. Now, the shuffle. Well, let's do the offering and then we'll do the shuffle. So we have both of the creative suits, the wands and the swords together, and both of the experiential suits. I am trying to move away from the gendered language of masculine, feminine here. Now, face down, and we shuffle. Whoa. Super bendy. Like Gumby bendy. Okay. And look at the backs. Uh-oh. Good grief. All right. Keep shuffling. And we don't turn the cards for reversals. I'm just going to shuffle a couple more times here. They handle very nicely. It's always kind of a, you know, how's this going to be? And with the other transparent tarot, I got the newest edition of it, and I heard that the first edition had like a greasy sort of coating on them, but the new edition didn't. So, I mean, I'm amazed at the materials that are available. I'm going to shuffle this one this way. The wonderful materials that are available here that allow you to see through and shuffle. They're very light, so that's not an unpleasant process at all. Let's try a riffle with the cups and the pentacles, but they are super bendy. Yee, and they kind of go places. All right, we'll do this. We don't have to bridge them. Shuffle, shuffle. And then I probably will do a cut and pick with these since, oh, okay, okay. All right, good enough. Now, all right, so you split the pack and you shuffled them. They must be divided on the table in front of the querent so that only the back is visible. From each pack, 2 cards are drawn and placed in a separate deck, overlapping each other and without turning them face up. The 6 cards must be rotated. Okay, let's just do the picking 2 from each. So, my question, my standard question, how do we today, where we are, move from surviving into thriving? What do we need to know about that today? There's 1. And there's 2. And we got 2 of the same. All right, we'll just go with it. That's totally fine. There's our 2 there. And here is this set. Interesting. Okay. So you can see just by looking at this that I have picked 2 majors, right? Because we haven't turned anything. And 2 of, I can't remember which one that is, but 2 of the same suit there. So just because you're picking, you know, you've got two like groups of cards in each set. You've got the majors and the courts in the first. You've got the swords and wands in one, and the cups and pentacles. Doesn't mean you're going to get 1 of each. and I'll show you what happens in that case. All right. So then you put them together, and when we do that, you see what happens here. So what we have to do is rotate, and we got to figure out, I guess I'll do it, you know, you have to figure out which one to rotate. If I rotate one of each of these, do you see what happens? We get the full card back. So this is just clever as all get out. And you know, if I want to, you can stack them in any order. It doesn't really matter, but you'll know that you have it right when you form a completed card back. Do you see? Is that the... It can be kind of difficult to see. I wish they had... Oh, they do. So here is the actual card back. It's really beautiful. And I don't think this is the back of the regular Universal. I think it's a different back. So you know that you've got it right. Let's go back to the instructions here. It is important that the order of cards as they were drawn remains unchanged. So I put it like that. If the querent is inspired to draw first a type A card, then 2 type B cards, then a second type A card, and then finish the remaining type... And now it gets loud. The remaining 2 type C cards, this order of drawing the cards must be maintained when positioning the 6 cards. Okay. Once they've been arranged to complete the back, the 6 cards are turned face up to obtain an image comprising the 6 cards in transparency. This is a structure of 6 complementary cards that can be consulted perfectly at the same time, where some will appear reversed and others upright. A card is defined as reversed if it appears with the image upside down. Hello. Having respected the order of the drawing, the card we have positioned first will be the top card, while the card drawn last will appear in transparency beneath the other 5. Then the key to interpretation card. Oh, here we go. Then the key to the interpretation card is positioned next to the deck. The deck and the key to interpretation card are then rotated together so that the green quadrant of the key is facing upward and the blue is facing downward. In this way, the key to interpretation decides which images will be reversed and which upright for the interpretation. Okay, so you put that next to it, and then they're rotated together. I don't understand. Okay, so we turn the stack over. Let me zoom in more. Okay. So you put it next to it and then turn them together so that the green is up and the blue is down. How? This makes 0 sense to me, and this is why every unboxing of this deck that I have watched, everyone's like, I don't get. So, you know, if you put it next to it, oh, okay. So I guess you can take, you know, spin this around, and then you go like this, and it still doesn't make any sense, you guys. It really doesn't. I guess if this comes up on the bottom, you just turn the whole thing. We've already turned some cards because of how we had to make up the back, so I'm not going to fuss with that. All right. And they're saying that, let's do this. So when you stack them, you know, they're like the first one that you pick should be on the top, so it should be on the bottom when you're stacking them, I guess. I don't know that that really makes a difference, but can you see? We now have, since we picked 2 wands, and the wands take this part, they would have been, the images would have been stacked on top of each other. So in order to make the whole card back, we had to turn one of them. So we have the Nine of Wands upright here, and we have the Ace of Wands reversed. The same thing with the majors. Since we got two majors instead of a major and a court, we have the Fool upright here, and we have Death reversed down here. Likewise with cups. We picked two cups instead of a cup and a pentacle. So we have the Ace of Cups upright, and we have the Six of Cups reversed. And notice too, this is very clever. It really is very clever. The one thing, look at how you can see, okay, big respect to the designer of this deck. There's the 0 for the Fool, there's the 1 for the Ace of Cups, there's the 9 for the Nine of Wands. Those are both upright. Here's the Six of Cups and the One of Wands, the Ace of Wands reversed. There's the Death card. Now you get all the information visible to you, and I really do like the little border on it too. So, holy shit. I mean, right off the bat here, look at this, the Fool and two aces. And then we have Death reversed. Holy crap. All right, let's just go with the book interpretations here. Once the cards have been arranged, they're turned face up. Observing our deck of 6 cards, we will see that it can ideally be divided into 2 quadrants, 2 halves, upper and lower. Each one will contain 3 images, of which one will be a major arcanum or a face card, and the other 2 will be numerals of the minors. Moreover, each of these images may appear upright or reversed. The images found in the upper half indicate the active forces present in the situation. Okay, so this is kind of a spread. So this is active. How interesting that those are upright. And this is passive forces. And these all happen to be reversed. They're not necessarily going to be. If you get like one of each of the minors, you're going to have uprights. But when you get doubles of each suit or section, then you're going to get reverses. Frickin' fascinating. I mean, I feel like this deck is showing up here. All right, active forces. These are deeds, persons, energies, or events that act on the querent's life. These images respond in a certain sense to the question, what is happening, what happened, what will happen. The passive forces, how or why. The cards above the others have a more significant interpretive view. We should give them more importance than the cards on the bottom. I mean, this could be external, internal. The orientation is very important. They will imply a different involvement in reading if they're reversed or upside down or upright. Yes, we know that. The mosaic of the simple reading must be interpreted according to these criteria: identifying the images that indicate the active forces to understand what's happening, identify the images that indicate the passive forces to understand how and why, upright positively, reversed negatively as detrimental, upper more important, urgent, or influential, lower less important, advanced, and then there's an advanced reading. Let's just go to the meanings here. And with the advanced reading, they're talking about switching cards, switching things. Okay, we're not going there. Fool, upright. How interesting that they don't give us reversed meanings. It just says reflection on the meaning of the cards. The horizon can be explored only by those who possess simplicity, purity, and pinch of madness. Pushing ahead where other dare not go is neither reckless nor stupid. So if since we don't have reversed meanings and they've put such an emphasis on reversals, I guess we would look at a reversal of this as that we are pushing ahead and being reckless and stupid. So we can just pick out the negative keywords there. So what's happening is we are in new territory. We are starting off on into the unknown here. We're going into unknown territory, and this is true. We have so many things happening right now that have not happened certainly in our lifetimes, in our generation, in a, let's call it a century, you know, with the pandemic. And then we have things that have not happened in like the history of humanity that we know of, like the severe climate events that are happening. So new territory. Then let's go to the Ace of Cups. The chalice of life is full, and the abundance must spill into the world to regenerate vitality and bring happiness. And then we have the Nine of Wands. Joys and perils await us. Being alert and ready and preventing the moves of others requires humility and great pragmatism. Some talk about that Nine of Wands as being wounded in battle. I look at it as vigilance and setting boundaries. So while we're setting out on this new adventure, there is something that gives us a sense of an emotional reset. But we have to stay on guard, and joys and perils await. We need to remain alert, or we are remaining alert. This talks about what is happening. Interesting, though, that this new, I think that what I'm getting here is that we really need to approach this as a new adventure rather than bracing. I mean, part of us is bracing for what's to come, but we can take this attitude of a fresh start. It feels weird to say. Let's look at the bottom and then we'll wrap it all up. So we have the devil, or death, I'm sorry, reversed. The temporary end of an eternal cycle. Temporary end. That's interesting. Looking carefully through all levels of reality will bring about a new birth. Now, I have to tell you that when I read, you know, my internalized meanings from the experience of 30 plus years of reading for clients, the major arcana have many cards of change, and each of them are qualitatively different. For example, we have the Wheel of Fortune. That is a card of cyclical change, of organic change. There is the Chariot, which is a card of self-directed change. We have the Tower, which is unexpected and disruptive change. We have Judgment, which is inevitable change and complete change from the inside out. And then we have the Death card. I'm probably missing one, I don't know. But we have the Death card, which is final change. To me, the Death card means no going back, no do-overs, done, finished. Door closed, door's gone. Okay? So, if we look at it, temporary end of an eternal cycle, and I'm really sad that they're not giving us reversed meanings when they've really hammered on the importance of the reverses. All right, well, I would say death reversed here is talking about, you know, this, we can get focused on the death of the earth, the death of, you know, our way of life, things that are being destroyed. Certainly some things are coming to an end, but this talks about looking at that in a negative light and looking at that with fear and trepidation, looking at how it's right next to this Nine of Wands, that we are braced for impact here. Whereas instead, we can remind ourselves that we are not going to kill our planet. It's going to take a lot more to kill our planet. The things that are happening now climate-wise is the Earth correcting herself. It is Gaia following her own laws, the laws of the universe, and she is self-correcting to take care of the excesses. You know, when things come out of balance, we seek equilibrium. The same thing happens in our internal systems here. When our body is out of balance, it tries to correct itself. So the earth, everything wants to come into balance. Everything wants to come into homeostasis and to this healthy condition. And when things are way out of balance and unhealthy, it's going to correct itself. So the Death card upside down says this is not final. This is not the final chapter of Earth, certainly. Then let's look at the Ace of Wands. We'll continue to read their meanings. Whoopsie. Enterprise and willingness to discover are the powerful energies that renew vital force and fecundity. So, okay, enterprise, adventure, is turned upside down here. We are not spending enough time and energy on innovation and enterprise and passionately looking at changing our ways. You know, the truth of it is, let me look at the last one and then I will pontificate. Okay, we got the Cups, Pentacles. Chalices come first. All right, 6. From a serene past arrive memories and nostalgia. This is the moment to look towards the future with simplicity. Okay, so we're talking about looking to the past, that we are kind of stuck in our past and we're not innovating. We're not creating the new things that are going to allow us to close the door on the things that we need to close the door on and start this new journey in empathy and in simpatico. That Ace of Chalices is about feeling, and when we are connected with each other and connected with the earth as a whole, of which we are part, we are a manifestation of earth. She made us. Yes, she did. She made this. Dirt made my lunch, and my lunch made me, right? So, if we can turn these around, if we can accept that some things do need to end and begin the innovation now as if they have already ended. So what I was going to say is that this is the way we tend to be as humans. We're very stuck in our ways, and we don't tend to change big things until we are forced to. And, you know, it kind of makes sense. Why would you make big sweeping changes when everything's okay, when everything seems to be working okay? The problem is that we've known for a long time that things are not working okay. That, you know, we've known from the 1930s when Congress was confronted with all of the physical harms and the sickness and illness that was coming from the use of petroleum products. And Congress, being owned by big oil, as it has always been, chose to give them a pass. They said, yes, we see these things, we acknowledge these things, but we're going to let it go because of the bright future of petroleum products, which means, you know, interpret that as there's too much money to be made to stop now. And we're still doing this. Even though we see the harm that comes from it, we are still doing this. Not all of us, obviously, but the ones that are making that money are so invested in making that money that they cannot see that there are other ways to make money. Why would you not want to get on the ground floor of new technologies and make that money? This is what I can't understand. And it's like greed really does make you blind, that you've got to hang on so hard to what you already have in your possession that you can't see that that is going downhill, and this new thing is what's going to be making all the money in the future. I just don't understand that. But wow, I mean, what an absolutely clear reading here, that we're kind of guarded against letting in this new. But as I have said before, rather than trying to take down the old structures, what we have to do is actively create the new. And that's what that reversed Ace of Wands is saying. And the reverse Six of Cups. We get lost in nostalgia, and we're so afraid of losing what we have, you know, that we will hang on until it is ripped away from us in a traumatic way, rather than willingly saying, I will change. I will change the way I do things. You know, we can do it gradually, or we can wait until it's not a gradual thing. So, hoo-wee. She do read. Yes, she do. Should I do a second one? I'm going to do a second one just for shits and giggles. I got to make sure they're upright. Well, that blew that. Okay. Let's get the bits back together again. Here's the bits. There we go. We put this. And I suppose you could turn the cards when you shuffle them, so you can't really tell what you're getting. I don't know why that wouldn't work. Okay, so we have the wand, and the wand goes in with the swords. Okay. And then we have these. Wrong. Okay. They're fun. I have to admit, they're really fun. I mean, you do get a limited reading. This is only this 6-card reading, but you know what? Do you need more? It's also can stop you if you tend to manipulate your readings. Like if you tend to lay cards out and get a spread, and then you're constantly taking hits on things. You know, let's try this. If I put this card here, this kind of locks you into a structure. All right. Let's just take those two off the top. I'm not even asking a question here. I'm just kind of, let's give us another, tell us more. Okay, and we're going to take two off the top there. The kind of cumbersome part is that you have to keep these stacks separated. And then we have, oops, two off the top there. Now, I'm going to do them this way. And you know, the card that's on the very top as opposed to the bottom layer, I don't really understand the difference there, but I do have to turn something. All right, here's where I have doubles. So I'm going to turn this one. Do we have, yes, we have the whole back. So here we have the Lovers, and there's the Ace of Cups again, you guys. And then we have the Eight of Swords reversed. It's so convenient that you can see the numbers up here because the images are very small. Here we have the Two of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, and the Knave of Wands. So here's me that likes to take hits on court cards. I guess we can't do that. Let's go with the book. So, and I didn't really go with the, you know, the causes and the, but looking at that last reading, it really kind of played out that way. What's happening? And then the bottom was why is our inability to let go of the old stuff that we're nostalgic for and the inability to innovate. Okay, wow. Phew. This deck is impressing me. All right. We are continually faced with decisions, crossroads, new paths, both material and sentimental. Before taking any oaths or agreeing to pacts or marriages, we must be free from previous bonds. So, decisions. Very interesting. So what does that card really mean? It's saying we're continually faced with decisions. Before taking oaths, we have to be free from previous bonds. So I guess we're just talking about bonding here. I'm tempted to go grab the other universal and look. I'll be right back. I want to see if the meanings are the same. And I didn't really look at copyright and such like. All right, let me look up the trial choice. Okay, so here we have keywords. I like this better. Why? That's an interesting choice. So this is, Roberto De Angelis, Universal. Let me look at Años with Los Garbeo. We get the copyright stuff on the back. This one is 2021. This is the reissue of that Universal, and this one is 2011. So, all right, I'm going with this for meanings here. Trial, choice, test, crossroads, decision, affectionate relationships, and encounter, the beginning of a relationship. Okay, so the choices that we're encountering. Then we have that Ace of Cups again. And then we have the Eight of Swords reversed. Trap, regret, bad news, obstacle, but it's reversed. All right, am I confusing myself now? What do you think? Am I confusing you? Order within and chaos without. The chains that seem to encumber can be shaken off once we open our eyes. Okay, so this talks about shaking off those chains. Okay, sorry, I'm putting this back. I'm gonna go with these. So we're at a crossroads. We have decisions to make. What future do we want to ally ourselves to? But these on the upper quadrant are talking about what's happening. So we are faced at a crossroads with a decision. We have this Ace of Cups, so again we have an opportunity here to act from our connection, act from our feeling body, and to walk away from the chains that bind us, our self-imposed chains. We are the victims of our very own choices here, and we can free ourselves from that if we just can connect with our feeling selves. All right, then we have on the bottom the Page of Wands, the Knave of Wands. Unexpected news from afar. It would be better to ask advice from a friend or loved one. So this is information coming in. This is the messenger. And the Two of Swords, who are we fighting? Opposites are necessary, like comparison and debate, but if we do not know who the true enemy is, we are lost. Okay. And also, the blindfold, we've got, we have both blindfold cards here, you guys. All right, so we're going intuitive here. Let's look up the Three of Pentacles, and then we're just swinging. Necessary to know how to promote oneself in order to promote our talents and the fruit of our genius, but without useless vanity. But the Three of Pentacles does talk about collaboration. So collaboration taking in information. The two blindfold cards here really stand out to me, as they would in any reading, in any spread. There is this willful denial going on, that we really need to take the blindfolds off, see how we have imprisoned ourselves so that we can let ourselves out of this, and closing ourselves off from the feeling of what's going on, from the emotional impact of what's going on. That Ace of Cups just says there's a lot in both spreads. There's so much emotion right now. There's so much that needs to happen as far as the processing of emotion and the processing of trauma, and we need to let ourselves see it. We need to come out of denial, let ourselves see the trauma, let ourselves see the conflict. Look at the Two of Swords coming right underneath the Lovers there. The Lovers are in conflict, you know, our relationship with the earth, our relationship with ourselves. Notice how this ended up being about climate change. That's interesting. Our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with the earth should be like the same kind of thing. And the Three of Pentacles down here says that we've got work to do. We have work to do. We need to bring all our skills to bear. We need to let in the new information. This Knave of Wands can certainly look like science and innovation more than science. I think the Knave of Swords would be more of investigation and science-y kind of stuff. This, it talks about innovation, coming up with new ideas. And the Lovers just says, you know, with the Lovers and the Ace of Cups, it's like we really, really do need to bring our loving selves forward, our loving and compassionate selves to bear on this issue. If we are not approaching with compassion, then we really are going to be feeling victimized and carrying the energy of anger and conflict with us. So again, I say, rather than battling, you notice that the Swords cards here have nothing to do with battle. This one was talking about inner chaos. So our battle is with ourselves. And rather than fighting the outside, although there are certainly cases where we need to oppose and we need to stand up against, and we need the bulk of our energy going into creating new ways of using energy, new ways of going about our lives, so that the old becomes obsolete, so that we just, what do I want to say? I don't know. We just let it fall. We let it become obsolete. Okay. All right, I think I've gone on long enough here, but what do you guys think of this deck? Do you have it? Do you use it? I can say I am a fan now. Absolutely a fan. This has been just a freaking amazing reading. I am thrilled with the tiling of how the images go together. Yeah, I'm a puzzle doer. When I'm sitting, you know, having my coffee in the morning, haven't done it yet this morning because you guys are number one, but as I'm sitting and watching videos and stuff, I will have a jigsaw puzzle open. I love the filling in, the stacking and the fitting together, and the filling in is very thrilling to me. So yeah, this deck is awesome. Totally different from the other transparent, but I am a big fan of both of them. I have to say that. This thing, not so much, because I wish it were just divided across the center so you couldn't tell which way was up, but you're always going to know that the arrow points to the green. So unless you just kind of close your eyes and, you know, flip it around and then turn it over, but then how do you know? Okay, how you know is if it comes up this way, then you turn everybody. That's the closest I can get to making sense out of that, and I'm going to take credit for it because I've not seen anybody else even attempt to make sense out of it. So it could be used, and I guess it's a cool thing because then you can reverse the reverses, and it just gives one more little random nuance, and randomness is at the heart of divination, isn't it? So, all right, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe and hit the bell so you know when things happen. And you know what? My birthday is next Monday. There's an Amazon wish list below. If you want to send me a prezi, look at that wish list and pick a deck for me, maybe one that you love and would like to hear my views on, or one that you are thinking about and would like to see a good review of. And send me a question if you have one, and I will read for you on my unboxing. And you will earn my undying thanks for contributing to my collection. So take care, you guys. I will see you on Wednesday for a live stream. And until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.